Medium term, the period is more than 12 months, but less than 5 years. So we have the hire purchase, leasing, and sale and lease back. So we will start with the hire purchase. So we have here an illustration, paying the asset installment over agreed period of time. The purchase price of the asset is paid in installment, and then the ownership is transferred after the payment of the last installment. So muna din you own the car after the last payment na. So this type of agreement are generally used for a very expensive goods or high value items. So the legal ownership transfers to the purchaser once all payments are made. So which is different no kay makadungog putag mga installment plans. This is different because with installment plans, the buyer usually gets the ownership right as soon as they sign the contract with the seller. So in the hire purchase, this is usually used in companies with insufficient working capital. So we sometimes we want to acquire mga truck, no, delivery truck. We want to acquire an asset, then wala tayong money, so we will resort to hire purchase. No? Next, we have the lease finance, no, also a medium term source of finance. Lease finance, leasing company, or the lessor owns the asset, and then user company, the lessee, pays rent for the use of the asset, and then the funds are obtained not in cash but in the form of machinery, equipment, or other capital assets. So as we can see in the arrow here, that from the lessor, the asset is given to the lessee, no, and then the lessee will now pay the rent to the lessor, and then at the end of the contract, the asset can be returned or can be buy out. That's lease finance. And then the sale and lease back. So this is an arrangement in which the company that sells an asset can lease back that same asset from the purchaser. So mo ni siya dinhi kaning first nga kanang murag broken lines. This is the first transaction. The first transaction here is the sale and purchase of the asset by the seller, gikan sa seller to the buyer. For example, kaning building, gibaligi sa seller to the buyer. Both sides in the first transaction involves here the signing no, of the sale purchase agreement to ensure that both parties are on the same page. Now, the second transaction, kaning dili na siya broken line, is the signing of the lease contract prepared by the buyer for the lessee. So the lease agreement can be understood as a contract between the tenant. So si tenant karon, si seller na. Ayan naman yung gibaligya, no? As seen in the diagram, no? And the landlord now, kini na si buyer. Ayan naman gipalit, no? So the landlord permits the tenant to live on the property for a specified period. Okay? So lease agreement should not be confused pod with the rental agreement because the lease agreement is a contract for a long duration of tenancy, whereas katong rental agreement are short-term contracts. So this is another good source of medium-term financing.